Hi everyone, this is Uxeles speaking, still in my experimental Berserker Soldier Celestial build. This video is a set of very short clips, about a minute or less, showing several strange, funny or nice occurrences in World vs. World. World vs. World roaming is my endgame, mostly because a lot of strange things may happen over there. For example, like this clip. A thief noticed me attack their camp, and using emoticons he informed me that he would like to duel me, but if I do not leave the camp I will have to face the consequences. Fair enough, I actually like dueling thieves. Unlike most people say, they are not an overpowered class. They have several cheesy and sick builds, but so do mesmers. Random duels in World vs. World are always a pleasure for me. One of the most important things one can do while roaming is killing Doliacs. A dead Doliac is 3 points for your server, while a taken camp is 5 points. That is assuming they won't retake it. But what is more important, you are able to deny them supplies, so they can't really upgrade stuff, and when your guild groups appear on the map they will be able to take the wooden keeps. Not convinced yet? No supplies equals no waypoint equals easier roaming. By the way, I really do feel for that elementalist who was escorting a Doliac. He was escorting the dolly all the way, all the time, with no rewards from the game, hasting it, only to have it killed a moment before it entered the keep. Losing stealth, and changing to Berserker mostly, made me realize one thing. I can't play recklessly anymore. Then it made me realize something else. If I don't, I may win those 1 vs 2, 1 vs 3 fights. The Meteor Power by Elementalist forced me to use Distortion Factor earlier than I wanted to, and an engineer could have pushed me back. I totally got lucky here. Break combat, recover, attack again. Now it is 1 vs 1 and a neutral supervisor. If I had important cooldowns up, or I had some major problems here, I should have used mass invisibility, moved away from this spot, and attacked again. Mobility and positioning is what gave me control of this fight. Everything starts with a Ballista. There's nothing like building a random Ballista after taking a random camp, destroying some burning oil in a fortified tower, killing an AFK player inside, destroying a cannon or two, and trying to attack that tower. No matter reinforced, not reinforced, 3 people are enough. Or so we thought. Plan B. Luring enemies to Ballista so we can spreadshot them and generally kill them, failed because nobody really wanted to go away from the juicy enemies, so we were left with plan A, try to take a tower. Right now Ranger was kind enough to take all the enemy fire on himself while we were working on a Guardian and we have downed him. Ranger got downed too, but what's the stomping for? The Ranger hit enemy Guardian earlier, so we know Stomp will rally him. Okay, Stomp failed. Okay, again. And again. Die, 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 die! No, Guardian! Why you no die to me? I'm going to rage quit the game, my plan was perfect! Or something. And that's why we failed taking this tower. The only reason, totally. This video is more glory to our enemies than we are awesome. 3 vs 3, we have a camp and Ballista. Ah, and they have an under-leveled player too. Those conditioned necromancers hurt a lot, and I mean it, a lot. The situation forced me to use spreadshot earlier than I wanted to, which reduced the damage on spreadshot. T downed the necromancer, but got downed in the process, so the distortion stomp was we win or they win situation. Even after the necromancer got stomped, the battle was not won yet. The Lucas, the mesmer, focused by both warrior and necromancer, got downed again, and once again a rally was needed. Notice this, we had all the advantage, camp, Ballista, we had equal numbers and they had an underlevel player and we barely won. Blinking inside a circle being capped like a boss was totally not my idea of tactics. But I needed the supplies and enemies were warrior, ranger and high-leg veteran. Now the problem is, I don't have blink anymore. I cannot use distortion shutter and I cannot use the mass invisibility or they will cap the camp. Fortunately, fighting against several nice opponents taught me a bit about defensive play and defensive mechanisms, so I was able to survive the initial moment before the ranger and Meow came to my rescue. This clip also shows why for a mesmer sword focus is a very good mobility plus survival combination. Seems I will have to visit Eternal Battlegrounds a bit more often. This place has some interesting roaming possibilities. So here we are, 4 of us, the perfect number to try to take the keep. When we see, no, there are millers fighting Abaddon in Inner. We could run, we could even hide, but the instructions were, Irks, ram faster! And then he appeared, a miller guardian who tried to defend the keep from evil invaders. That is us. We definitely outmanned him, 4 of us and he was alone, so we were able to easily defeat him in battle. Of course, as they say, no bad deed goes ever unpunished. So we weren't able to take the Lord fast because the Guardian managed to slow us down enough for the Abaddon Vanguard to catch us. This slowed us down even more, and as a total result, Abaddon main force managed to get to us, and well, let's say some courtyard dogs had some mincemeat today. Sometimes you happen to be losing tower to a Zerg and you are the only player nearby. You can try to hide, you can run, or you can do what I tend to do. In short, cause maximum chaos and mayhem possible, so they won't take the tower too easily. I mean, there is hardly anything as rewarding as making an enemy die. I mean, this is why I graduated from World vs. World Trolling Academy. It had no strategic value at all for my server, but it was deeply satisfying on the most reptilian ancient part of my brain. A better, more strategically minded player would probably leave more or less now, but there's something extremely satisfying at attacking a Zerg, so you know I had to stay. So it is all like, Irk dear, look, a hole in the wall, let's get into the bay. But quickly get in and hide underwater. And what does intelligent Urxalis do? Ooh, an downed enemy, shiny. I need to hit him. This results in Abaddon closing the gate, one very stupid Mesmer hugging the wall and being downed. Fortunately, Rally. Well, chill low on hit points and stuff results in yet another being downed. Fortunately, the Draugr was here, so I was safe. So yeah, enemies got more numerous and they started swarming through the bay, so we had to escape, return, and to contain them use a ballista. Even if this wasn't enough to kill them, it was enough to stop them, force them to retreat, and save the Briar for the Teak. Shame nobody really came closer. A spread shot does wonders for destroying enemy morale. So, remember when I said that I have learned how to use control, mobility, distance and everything to control the fight? I lied. Here you have me, falling into a trap and I do nothing here. I could have blinked, I could have used a distortion, but I do nothing and get downed. Fortunately, where I fail my partymates rarely fail, and Drew resurrected me with his nature spirit. In the same time, an enemy they were fighting, while I was being completely stupid, has been stomped by T. And this is how a battle for Godsword camp started. Now, an enemy ranger made the same mistake I did a moment ago by overextending, and got downed and stomped in the process. Seeing this, an elementalist moved towards our position and away from his allies. While Drew and T were focused on fighting his allies, I focused on an elementalist and managed to down him. At this point, only 4 enemies remained, but there were only T and Drew over there, so it was not a good situation. T got downed. First I tried to go for a stomp or slow down enemy regeneration, but enemy started reviving his ally and I had to go to resurrect T. Drew managed to keep T alive under a very, very heavy fire, and afterwards, while I was trying to revive her from downstate, he managed to down 1 enemy more. Here is when I make one more mistake, a more dangerous one. I attack them while T and Drew fall back, so I am stretched once again. Why is it a problem? Because I am in Berserker mostly, I shouldn't be the main target for enemies. T is in soldier armor and she's a thief. Drew is a master of escaping and he can do some evil tricks, but I am an artillery. And here I make a third and very stupid mistake. I try to stomp instead of ranging him. The only saving grace, they didn't get the stomp points from us. This video is good to learn for me. Since T became a commander, she has awesome ideas. One of those was to reinforce a commander having a large problem with enemy Zerg at our tower with a ballista. And I have to admit, we have theory crafted a situation like that earlier, but we have never done it actually. 3 of us ran over there, we've built a ballista, and in this moment all my doubts about Ballista Mastery 5 has ended. The skill 2's radius proved to be very high, sufficiently high, and the initial strike of the ballista made enemies a bit perplexed. T started to move behind enemy lines to stomp enemies which were downed by a ballista. Now, my main goal was to divert enemies to attack me so I can spread shot them, and buy a bit of time for a commander to do what he wanted to. But the results were even more interesting than I thought. Please call me a monster with no honor. I will be delighted. To put it short, roaming is my endgame. I play with everyone, veterans and newbies alike. I rarely, if ever, use TeamSpeak. This, of course, makes it so the dedicated teams will always be able to defeat me. But if I was the best, if I only won, would there be any pleasure of fighting? There is no pleasure in winning if you cannot lose. I will add something more. If you never lose, you are not evolving, you are not getting experience, you are not getting better. And your opponents are. Of course, you can take a flavor of the month class or build, but this will be countered eventually. The only thing you can do to get better is to lose a lot. Notice, it's the same thief I have defeated in the first clip. This time he's using a very different strategy, and I will not win this fight. Appreciate your opponents, no matter you win or lose. We fight people, not guilds. Our fights are personal.